Hello students, very good evening to all of you. Welcome to Diksha Karnataka. Today we are going to start with chapter Breathing and Exchange of Gases of Unit Human Physiology for 2026. Dates have already declared, you very well know, on 21st June of 2026. Okay, okay. So let's start the topic without wasting time. Then I have one video like 37 days master plan strategy for biology, the recorded version you will get at time of 6:30 p.m. on this channel also. If if you are have not subscribed the channel, subscribe it, and on the description Telegram link is there. You can install the application Telegram from your Play Store, and on the description you can go to the link. By joining the Telegram, you are able to fetch more updates and courses. Okay, and students, you have to connect with the official website of NTA because next so many declaration will come over there also. Okay, okay, there are so many updated. The fees is not charged again, but examination centers have been updated because students have migrated to their main cities also after giving the exam because they don't know na, that this will going to happen. And next year updates are so many there, so there are so many updates which will come regularly to you before 21st. But sometime if you are striving to more updates, your mind will disturb. So now your main planning from today onwards is to prepare for re-neet. Okay, the students who have appeared on 3rd May, they have to give the exam again. So their main uh, bullseye is to prepare. These updates are continuously coming. Some informations are not for your use. Some information sometimes are fake and some information are correctly. So even we are educators have searched so many things, then we are able to give you the information. Okay. So faith on your educators, faith on Vedantu, and just focus on your studies. Okay. Just focus on your studies. Don't make your mind haphazardly going everywhere for every news. Okay. Done. Am I audible now? Okay. So, as a biology educator, my name is Dr. Meetu Bhavnani. I'm a doctor, I'm a dental surgeon and cosmetologist, and teaching NEET biology students since 11 years. So, today we are going to start with the most highly weightage unit of biology, that is human physiology. We discuss about your body. Okay, digestion absorption has deleted some few years back by NT. Digestion absorption chapter should not be date while you are studying the. Okay, so we are starting with the chapter breathing and exchange of gases of this unit human physiology. Okay, for RE NEET 2026. Start this preparation with Ghosh and confidence that things will now going to. Okay, now dealing with the theory, but in a very quick version, a mind map form, because we have already done with the elaborated form of theory, even with the crash course also for the NEET. Okay, so this time we are not going to waste our time for 5 to 6 hours for theory also. It is distributed. Go with the theory, quick revision, solve the question. Now, breathing and exchange of gases deals with the transport of gases. Transport of gases. Transport of gases. Which type of gases? Transport of gases. Now, this transport of gases is a physiology which is proceeded by the human respiratory system. Done. Now, transport of gases in what manner? Oxygen and carbon dioxide. Now, first part is breathing, only conduction of gases. Breathing deals with only conduction of gases. And after breathing, respiration will occur, cellular respiration will occur when the cells of each and every part of my body utilizes the oxygen, oxidizes the food, break down the food in the presence of oxygen, and then the carbon dioxide gas is produced. So, oxygen and CO2 are simply transporting to breathing, but when they are actually utilized by the cells, then only is you are inhaling the oxygen from atmosphere. So how will your body is going to produce CO2? Only when the breakdown of food occurs by that oxygen, breakdown of absorbed food coming from the small intestine of your human digestive system. Okay, breathing deals only with conduction. Inhalation part and exhalation, inhalation, exhalation, and then breathing. After breathing, respiration will occur. Respiration will occur. So here respiration is cellular respiration. Means this procedure is taking inside the cell. Inside the cell means the cell is intercellular. So how it will occur? Means oxidation of properly digested and absorbed food. Properly digested and absorbed food. If it is possible from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will prepare small mind map slides for theory also. So it will, make our revision more quickly. Done. So oxidation of properly digested and absorbed food by oxygen. Oxygen. Oxidation means in the presence of oxygen. And here it is breakdown actually. Okay. So respiration deals with utilization. Respiration deals with utilization of oxygen. Deals with utilization of oxygen. Done? Is it clear? Done? Is it clear? Now, next. Now, many organs are for doing this respiration procedure. Means we very well know that this procedure is carried out by human respiratory system. So, system is made up of organs. Done. So, organs are starting from invertebrata also. So, we are going to deal with a wholesome procedure. Like if a general skin surface is used for respiration, it is called as cutaneous respiration. It is called as cutaneous respiration. Okay. Now, if organism is in an aquatic mode, living inside the water, complete mode of habitat is aquatic water, then the organ of respiration is gills. Then it is called branchial respiration. It is called branchial respiration. Okay. Then if if the organ for respiration is lungs in higher vertebrates, then it is the pulmonary respiration. Pulmonary respiration adapted by terrestrial mode of habitat. There you are allowing the conduction of oxygen and CO2. Then food plus oxygen, CO2, cells, cellular respiration. Okay, done. So now human respiratory system. Human respiratory system. Here we are dealing with human respiratory system. So this human respiratory system is made up of organs. What type of organs? What type of organs? They are nose, nostrils. Means nostrils are included within the nose. Nasal passage, nasal passage, then pharynx, throat, kant, gala, common passage for food and air. Then here larynx, voice box. This larynx voice box, sound producing box, opens um, to trachea, that is windpipe. Esophagus is food pipe. Trachea is ventral. Esophagus is dorsal. Trachea, which is divided into bronchus. These division occur under the lungs, paired lungs. Okay. Bronchus will divide into bronchioles and bronchi. And this bronchi within the lungs divided into alveoli. Okay. Internal nostrils, some pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchus, lung. Left lung will show cardiac notch. Okay. And this will divide into many like structures. Done? Is it clear? Here we are going to give the labeling of this diagram. Okay. Nose part, pharynx part, larynx part, trachea part, right and left bronchus, right and left lung. Done. Lungs. And these are division. Bronchus means more tube like further divisions. Bronchioles, bronchi, and alveoli. Grap like structure. Grap like structure. Alveoli is the main exchanging organ for gases with the blood. Okay, this is alveoli. Exchange is your blood capillary. Oxygen. Exchange of gases with the blood capillary, because we are the human beings. We have the closed circulatory system, and in the closed circulatory system, the blood flows inside the vessels, arteries, veins, capillaries. It is not flowing over the spaces with the done. So this is the alveoli. One is alveolus, oxygen to blood, blood liquid, largest connective tissue, uh, cells, done. Tells me the tissue, oxy, carbon dioxide. Is it clear? Is it clear to each and everyone? Hello everyone. Hello Sneha, Medi, Confus, Prajwal, Sweet Girl, Pranati. Hi Prime Soul. Okay, done. Is it clear? Now we have done with all the respiratory. Now main thing is that how will the oxygen? Now oxygen and CO2 are the atmospheric gas. CO2 produced inside a body, but CO2 is harmful. So, and oxygen should be come from atmosphere. So what is the procedure? How the gases will came, so that we have to travel from atmosphere to body, inside the body. Okay. So it is all depend upon the concentration gradient, diffusion, simple the procedure of diffusion of gases from region of higher partial pressure to region of lower partial. Flow of gases from higher partial pressure, lower partial pressure, done, to lower partial pressure. Now it is indicated in that way. Like it depends on concentration gradient. Which procedure it is going to follow? Which procedure it is going to follow? It is going to follow diffusion of gases. Diffusion of gases. Fusion of gases. Okay, done. Now, the major thing, some of the points take from you, like the first going to complete it. Partial pressure of oxygen indicated or dedicated in this way. Partial pressure of measured in of Hg. Done. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Now, here we are going to deal with, like, that trachea, surrounded by C-shaped cartilaginous to prevent its collapsing. To prevent its collapsing. To prevent its collapsing. And after completion of theory, we are going to solve questions also. Okay. So this is not about the theory topic. This is RE NEET 2026. We are here to cover the chapter in one go. Like breathing exchange of gases, theory covered, then we will solve the main questions. Done. Then if we consider nose, here hairs are there, mucus is there for trapping of dust particles and humidification of hair. If hot air is coming, make it cool. If air is coming, make it moderate. Okay. Protection and humidification. Protection and humidification. Protection and humidification. Okay, protection and humidification. Now, after this, the main organ, the main exchanging organ, the main bhari organ is lungs. Lungs are paired, spongy, pinkish organs. Paired means two in number. Okay, right and left. Left has cardiac notch also. Left has cardiac notch also to accommodate the conical ventricular part of the heart. Okay, done. Done. Is it clear to everyone? Now, lungs are surrounded by layers. Done. Lungs are surrounded by layer. Inner layer is visceral pleura. Outer is parietal of lungs. Done. Membrane of lungs, pleura. Okay. Parietal pleura. Visceral pleura. Parietal pleura, visceral pleura. Okay. So these are the pleural membranes of lungs surrounding it. Now between these two layers, pleural fluid is present to avoid friction and collapsing of the lungs. Done. Avoid friction. Provide lubricant. Okay, done. Is it clear? Read it. Is it clear to everyone? Done. Now, alveolus with your basement membrane and with your blood capillary epithelium. Done. Epithelium, squamous epithelium. It should be thin walled. Thin walled. Gases should be soluble. Is it clear for everyone? So now the part of inhalation. Steps of breathing. Steps of breathing is of two types. Inhalation. Inhalation is inspiration. First step of breathing, which is an active procedure, required ATP and muscles involved. Muscles of diaphragm, phrenic muscles, muscles of ribs, internal and internal costal muscles. Okay. They contract, actually changes the volume of thoracic chamber of lungs. When volume changes, pressure also changes because volume is pressure. This is the whole concept behind inhalation and exhalation procedure of breathing. Very easy concept. Your body is, totally depends on muscular system. The majority of things occurs through the contraction relaxation of muscles. Okay. Which uh phrenic muscles of diaphragm. Okay. So this is the active part of breathing. Here we are involving the contraction of muscles, active procedure. ATP is utilized. And in exhalation, expiration, we are just doing the opposite of inspiration. Relax. Relax all the muscles. External and muscles of ribs. Done. Which alter the volume and pressure of pressure of thoracic chamber. Done. Volume is inversely proportional to pressure. So when pressure changes, gases will flow from higher partial pressure to lower partial pressure through diffusion procedure. Okay, getting my. So inhalation here, active process, contraction of muscles, muscles, thoracic chamber, thoracic chamber, volume, so pressure increases, oxygen flow from atmosphere. So this inhalation allow the inspiration of oxygen gas. It means entry of oxygen gas. Done. Entry of oxygen gas to lungs. Is it clear? Atmosphere to lungs. Then exhalation. Exhalation opposite. Simple opposite. Passive relaxation. Done. Thoracic volume decreases, pressure increase. CO2 flow from lungs. Atmosphere. Is it clear? Now, next is gases reach to alveoli. Now they have transported to blood. So it is the blood ka plasma. It is the hemoglobin of RBC who are allowing the transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Done. Like oxygen, they dissolve in plasma, but majority of the 99% of oxygen transported through hemoglobin. So oxygen plus hemoglobin is oxyhemoglobin. Okay. One hemoglobin attaches four molecules of oxygen. Is it clear? And hemoglobin plus CO2 is a carb amino hemoglobin. When CO, carbon monoxide there, and if it combines to hemoglobin, it is carboxyhemine. Done. Now, CO2 has taken three procedure dissolved in plasma, attaching with hemoglobin, but 70 to 80% of CO2 transported as HCO3 minus ion, bicarbonate ions. The major way to transport the partial pressure. Suppose here 95 in alveoli, then 44 of H. Because pathway of oxygen is from alveoli to blood to tissue and CO2 from tissue to blood to alveoli. Done. 21. Reverse for CO2. Here, bicarbonate ion occur always inside RBC with the role of carbonic anhydrase and Hamburger phenomenon. And Hamburger, Hamburger phenomenon, Hamburger phenomenon. Okay. Is it clear? Now, what else? This is all about your, transportation of gases. Exchange from alveoli to blood, and blood allow transport of gases. Transport of gases. Transport gases. Okay, done. Is it clear? Now, when oxygen reaches to tissue, CO2 will produce this, all these things. Okay. Now, what are the, major things we are going to deal with it? That is, it is oxyhemoglobin dissociation. Oxy. It is sigmoid curve. Sigmoid curve. Sigmoid curve. Okay. There you are getting in. Whenever there is hemoglobin, there is oxygen. And one molecule of hemoglobin is able to carry four molecules of oxygen. After then, if more molecules of oxygen will come, will create a saturation curve. So it is a easy curve. Okay, done. Now, the human respiratory system, we have all the systems in our body. Later on, we are going to body fluids. Okay, we are going to deal with excretory products, locomotion, movement, muscular system, skeletal system, neural system, chemical system. So it is the neural system who is actually controlling all other systems of my body. Okay, so how this regulation of respiration, the rhythmic inhalation, exhalation occurring by control of neurons. So nervous regulation of respiration. Now, here we are dealing with, now, neural system means neurons are located brain, forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. So it is the hindbrain, and in that pons and medulla oblongata, having those respiratory centers which are actually controlling the rhythm of breathing, that is inhalation, exhalation, inhalation, exhalation. Okay, hindbrain. Pons is having pneumotaxic center, pneumotaxic center, okay, and medulla oblongata, having chemosensitive area. Now controls the rhythm of respiration. Is it clear? Done? So last but not the least part of your theory is disorders. Then we are going to solve the question. Disorders of human respiratory system. Disorders of human respiratory system. First disorder is asthma. First disorder is asthma. Now here asthma dealing with the inflammation of bronchioles. So the squeezing of bronchioles will allow more pressure for the oxygen CO2 to pass through, and it will sometime create produce a wheezing noise while breathing. Okay, so asthma is simply inflammation, simply inflammation of bronchi or bronchioles. Done. Maybe deposition of dust particles. So squeezing of bronchioles of bronchiole. Is it clear? Then occupational disorders. Occupational disorders means the workers who are doing work in is stone grinding industry, asbestosis, silicosis, cotton dust industry, cotton asbestos industries. And without using, and if you are not taking the precautions of wearing masks, then continuously those silicosis and asbestos particles were deposited inside their lungs, and they will suffer from silicosis and asbestosis causes and asbestosis. Okay. Is it clear, students? So last, that is emphysema, deposition of carbon particles till alveoli, completely destroy the speed of exchange of gases of oxygen CO2 patient. So much dizziness, too much difficulty in breathing, and these deposition of carbon particles is due to chronic cigarette smoking. Chronic cigarette smoking. Done. Chronic cigarette smoking. Inflammation of alveoli is the main site for exchange of gases. Now here, deposition of carbon particles. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? So this is all about the mind maps and theory of breathing and exchange of gases chapter. I have taken two more slides for it. Now chalo, let's start solving questions. In humans, respiration occurs in the following steps. Arrange these steps in the correct order. Now you are going to solve it. Because I've already teach you the chapter now. Don't worry. HP Pranav, just focus on your studies. Consider respiration first occur pulmonary ventilation, then diffusion, oxygen, CO2 between alveolar membrane, then blood and tissue, then C. Okay. Transport of gases by blood, then tissues, then cellular respiration. So, done. Pulmonary ventilation, then diffusion alveolar, then alveoli to blood, then blood to tissue, and then finally oxid means utilization of oxygen. Utilization of oxygen. So option number C, CBEAD. CBEAD. Done. Let's move on to second question. Match list 1 with list 2. Match list 1 with. This is a simple thing. Respiratory volumes and capacities. Simple thing. What? ERV is 1000 to 1100 ml. Then RV is means if you consider it is 2143. 2143. Okay? Is it clear? 2143. Option is means here I think some typing mistake. I have not able to involve the options. I'm so sorry for this. Second time I'll be more clear with it. So we just go through the answer. That second one 43, because these are the simple volumes or details which I've already told you. Now match list 1 with list 2. Mollusk, reptiles, adult amphibian, amphiba. They here the respiration procedure is there. Is amoeba direct cellular. Okay, then mollusk is the aquatic, so branchial, reptile pulmonary, and this is adult amphibians is pulmonary cutaneous respiratory. Okay, done. Now given below are two statements, assertion A and B. Now here A is true, B are well, two statements are there, and after reading the two statement, you have to tell me the answer. Okay, question number 4. Question number 4. During the transportation of gases, about 20 to 25% of CO2 is carried by hemoglobin is carb amino. Okay, it is correct. And the binding is related to high PU CO2 and low partial pressure of oxygen. Definitely, if you are dealing with the combination of CO2, the partial pressure should be high, and you have to counter effect the partial pressure of oxygen. So both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of, means both assertion reason are true and reason is the correct assertion. Question number 5. Which of the following factors are favorable for the formation of oxyhemoglobin in alveoli? Means uh, in alveoli we cannot say, but when oxygen transported to the blood, then the association, we can say blood also. Is it clear? Why oxygen is going to combine with hemoglobin? Tell me. Question number 5. When there is more high PO2, high PCO2, no. Low PCO2, no, no. High PO2 and lesser H plus. When there is more oxygen, then hemoglobin automatically joins with the oxygen and form oxyhemoglobin. Again, assertion reason type of question. Assertion is a person is going to high altitude and experience altitude sickness with symptom like breathing difficulty and heart palpitations. Okay. Due to low atmospheric pressure at high altitude, the body does not get sufficient oxygen. Yes, definitely. When you are going to high altitude, oxygen availability is very less. Your body has to do more and more work. So sometime if you are not so much, good in very much, deep breathing, then the body will show difficulty in breathing and heart palpitations because it is completely related to the body fluid circulation. So both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of assertion. Vital capacity of lung is, it is very easy. I've already told you many times. Vital capacity is complete respiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume. It is reserve volume, reserve volume and tidal volume. Okay, done. Done. Is it clear? Now, question number 8. Identify the region of human brain which has pneumotoxic center and alter respiratory rate, reducing the duration of respiration. Inspiration. Cerebrum, medulla, pons, and thalamus. I've just told you before 2 minutes when I was theory part. P for pons, P for pneumotoxic. Here P is silent, but the spelling is starting from new. P, pons. Under normal physiological condition in human being, every 100 ml of oxygenated blood can deliver how many ml of oxygen? Again, a easy question. 2 ml, 5 ml, 4 ml or 10 ml. When we are talking about oxygen, it is 5 ml. Question number 10. Which of the following is not the function of conducting part of respiratory? Conduction hai. It is not about exchange. It is about conduction. Okay. Tell me. Not the function है, ये नहीं करेगा. Clear inhaled air from foreign particle, yes. Inhaled air is humidified, yes. Temperature of inhaled air is brought to board, yes. But provide surface for diffusion, no. This is not the part of conduction. This is part of exchange. Select the correct event that during inspiration. Inspiration. Easy question. Now here volume always and pressure decreases. You will get cancer. Only contraction of diaphragm and inter. Okay, done. Tidal volume, expiratory reserve volume of an athlete is 500 ml and 1000 ml. What will be his expiratory capacity? The residual volume is 1200. Have to find E. Now you very well know that capacity always the volume, and volume is already given. Done. Now it is the addition of volume. So 500 plus 1000 is 1500 ml. Simple question. Question number 13. Okay. Now which of the following correctly represent the lung condition in asthma and emphysema? Okay. Very good question. Very nice question. In asthma, decreased respiratory, increased, no, it is inflammation of bronchioles. So by default, second option, emphasizing emphysema, decreased respiratory surface due to chronic cigarette smoking, carbon particle deposition on the alveoli. Of the following is an occupational respiratory disorder. Tell me. You tell me, na? Done. Is it clear? So, which of the following is an occupational respiratory disorder? Tell me. It is silicosis, the deposition of silica on the walls of alveoli. Okay. Lungs do not collapse between breaths, and some air always remains in the lungs, which can never be expelled because there is a negative pressure in lungs. There is a negative intrapleural pressure pulling at the lung walls. There is a positive intrapleural pressure, or pressure in the lungs is always higher than the atmospheric pressure. Is it clear? Tell me. Always inflate. Intrapleural means within the pleura. So, if exchanging occurs like this, always a negative intrapleural pressure pulling at the lungs walls so that lungs will not get collapse. Okay. Name the chronic respiratory disorder caused mainly by cigarette smoke. Easy question. Yes, cosmic. What do you want to say? I think you're not interested in studies. Hmm, you're not interested. Cigarette smoking simply emphysema. Now, asthma may be attributed to inflammation of trachea, accumulation of fluid in the lungs, bacterial infection of the lungs, or it is allergic reaction of mast cells in the lungs. Whenever there is inflammation, whenever there is inflammation, the particular area's mast cells is histamine, which actually causes inflammation. Okay, so asthma may be attributed to it is allergic reaction of mast cells in the lung. Okay, in asthma, you have seen the inflammation of bronchioles, squeezing the surface area so that wheezing sound will always come. When you hold your breath, which of the following gas changes in blood would first lead to urge to breathe? Your breathe. Just hold your breath for some seconds. Okay? Tell me. Hold your breath. Oxygen is always available, so no falling O2 concentration. Rising CO2, falling O2, both things will never occur. Falling CO2, rising. It is because you're holding your breath. So continuously all the cells are oxidizing the food fastly and CO2 is increasing. Approximately 70% of CO2 transported or absorbed by the blood will be transported in the lungs as bicarbonate ion HCO minus ion, the form of dissolved gas molecule by binding to RBC, it is carbaminohemoglobin. Okay. As bicarbonate. Done. Which one of the following is the correct statement for respiration in human? Cigarette smoking, correct means it is true. Okay. Cigarette smoking may lead to inflammation of bronchi. Neural signals from pneumotoxic center in pons region of brain can increase the duration of respiration. Working in grinding and stone breaking industry may suffer from lung fibrosis. About 90% of CO2 carried by hemoglobin is carbaminohemoglobin for respiration. So cigarette smoking lead to inflammation of alveoli directly. It is not 90%, 70%. Completely correct statement is completely correct statement. This worker in grinding and industry suffer from lung fibrosis. People who have migrated from plains to area adjoining Rohtang Pass, means again high altitude, about 6 months back, then what they are suffering, have more RBC, and then hemoglobin has a lower binding affinity to oxygen, are not physically fit to play games like football, suffer from altitude sickness with symptoms like nausea, fatigue, etc., have the usual RBC count, but the hemoglobin has very high binding affinity to oxygen. Migrated. Definitely, if they are migrated to higher altitude regions for many months or 6 months, definitely the body is there to produce more and more RBC. But that doesn't mean that if you are increasing the RBC, the hemoglobin content also increase. Hemoglobin is only allowing four molecules to attach. The answer is bulk of CO from body tissue. The blood is present bicarbonate blood plasma, CO2 in blood plasma, 70% carbamino, hemoglobin, and 30% is bicarbonate. Carbamino hemoglobin RBC. Now you very well know that 70% of CO2 is finding, very good in transportation as bicarbonate. A large proportion of oxygen remains unused in the human blood. Okay. Even after its uptake by the body tissue. This oxygen means oxygen is utilized by tissue but still is present in the blood. What is happening with that? Tell me what is happening with that. Simple. If something is more, body is using as a reserve. So no, why it is raising the PCO2? No. Enough to keep oxyhemoglobin saturation? No. Because the affinity, the association and dissociation is occurring continuously. Help in releasing more oxygen to the epithelium? No. Act as a reserve during muscular exercise. What is true about RBCs in human? They carry about 20-25% of CO2. They transport 99.5% of oxygen. They transport about 80%. Okay. Oxygen only, and rest 20% if it is transported and dissolves it in blood plasma. They do not carry CO2 at. True about human red blood corpuscle. No, 99.99% not, because it is 100% human RBC. But what is vital capacity of our lungs? Vital capacity of lungs, VC. We very well know that it is a TLC minus RV. So it is not, means capacity not related with your inspiratory reserve volume or expiratory reserve volume, not with volume, not with, it is total lung capacity minus residual. Okay, done. The hemoglobin of a human fetus. Fetus means it is the baby boy or baby girl which is, developing inside the womb of uterus of a mother. So has only two protein subunit instead of four, has a higher affinity for oxygen than of an adult, has a lower affinity for oxygen than of the adult. Its affinity for oxygen is same as that of an adult. Very good question. Very nice question. Definitely, fetus require continuous oxygen for growth and everything. तो सेम तो हो नहीं सकता. No lower affinity. It has higher affinity for oxygen than that of an adult. Now, people living at sea level, okay, have around 5 million RBC per cubic meter of their blood, whereas those living at altitude 400 meters have around 8 million. Got at high altitude, people eat more nutritive food, therefore more RBC formed. People get pollution free to breathe and more oxygen is available. Atmospheric oxygen level is less and hence more RBC is needed to absorb the required amount of oxygen to survive. More UV radiation. Definitely the persons are living at high altitude. So they require more RBC, more RBC, more RBC. Absorb the oxygen because atmospheric oxygen is low. Majority of CO2 produced by a body transported to lungs as again a easy question, mainly repeated question. Lesser in plasma, lesser with hemoglobin, more as bicarbonate ions. When CO2 concentration in blood decreases, breathing becomes shallower and slow. There is no effect on breathing slow and deep and faster and deeper. CO2 is more harmful gases, more you have to breathe more to remove it out. Otherwise, it will overcome the oxygen. Now, then oxygen is not able to bind with anyone. Faster and deeper. Blood analysis of a patient reveals an unusually high quantity of carboxyhemoglobin. CO2 plus hemoglobin is carboaminohemoglobin. Which of the following conclusions is likely to be correct? Read carboxy, it is not carboamino. The patient has been inhaling polluted air containing unusually high content of carbon dioxide, chloroform, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. It is carbon monoxides. People living at sea level, okay, per cubic millimeter, again at an high altitude. Again the same question in the different way. More, at height, more altitude, low oxygen. Increase the RBC, absorb more oxygen as atmosphere has no oxygen. What is true about RBC? True. They carry about 20 to 25% of CO2. They transport this at about 80% or they do not carry CO2 at all. True about RBCs. They carry about 20 to 25% of CO2. Now, which one of the following statements is incorrect? Be very clear. Incorrect means wrong. The principle of counter current flow facilitates efficient respiration in gills of fishes. The residual air in lungs slightly decreases the efficiency of respiration in mammals. The presence of non-respiratory air sac increases the efficiency of respiration in birds. Or an insect circulating body fluids serve to distribute oxygen to tissue. Tell me. Residual air never decreases. If you focus on the option number D, now in insects there is a sac-like structure is present, some trachea. So in that fluid is there, which able to distribute the oxygen. A slightly difficult question. Which one of the following is a possibility of most of us in regard to breathing by making a conscious effect? Breathing effect when you are in conscious way. One can breathe out air totally without oxygen. One can breathe out air through eustachian. Eustachian tube, which is going from your nose to ear, which actually balances the pressure of your face along with the atmosphere. Sometime when we are in flight, the flight um, takes off, and when we are at the very higher altitude or higher kilometers, very above to the sky, so sometime persons feel so much pressure on their face, they're feeling tingling effect, they're feeling a very hard and painful effect. Your hostess will tell you to swallow it or eat some chocolate, you know minimizes or balances the pressure with the atmospheric pressure. Okay. Here, if you are consciously breathing in and out by moving the diaphragm alone without moving the ribs at all, then it is by making a conscious effect. Again, a different question, because I have put some different questions also, not all from NCRT. Okay, done. So, two more questions. A large proportion of oxygen unused in the human blood even after uptake by the body tissue. This oxygen is now again, this is the unused thing. We are putting as a reservoir. Done? Okay, now don't do this question. The repeated one. Okay? Okay, students, so this is all about your today's session. From tomorrow, we will going to, you know, increase the number of questions also, because there are some repeated questions. So I'm not able to fetch complete 45 question. My target is to give you a theory in the form of mind maps in the lecture, and then at least 45 questions. Okay, so meet you on tomorrow. Thank you so much. And stay tuned with Diksha Karnataka. Telegram link is there on description. Join it. Offline centers are providing free mock test series, which I have already recorded, available in the recorded version for you. So if you're not subscribe the channel, subscribe the channel. Join the Telegram given in the description box so that you are able to fetch more updates. Okay, student, thank you so much.